there's a professor.
Just like everything in the world sometimes ties back into sports. So we're this week, the new thing that everybody's freaking out about is this Bad Bunny playing the halftime show.
Very
So I
nice.
wake up this morning to a freaking headline about Danica Patrick comment
Yes.
that Bad Bunny should not be allowed to play the Super Bowl because he only does songs in Spanish. And if you're going to have the biggest American event, you have to do songs in English. People actually are going to Danica Patrick for freaking opinions now.
There's a woman who never
This
got
is a
past
woman.
top three. Yes.
This is a woman who a year ago admitted she had never voted until 2024. It's a woman who really has two areas of expertise. One, crashing race cars.
Yes. Whatever she drove.
I mean, honestly, if you are looking for advice on how to crash a race car, Danica Patrick may be the leading authority of the world on that subject. But now she's commenting on culture, and her biggest contribution to culture was doing those dirty ads for GoDaddy that used to get banned from the Super Bowl.
Yes.
You used to strip in the shower for and I think GoDaddy's even out of business now.
Don't exist.
Now that you're no longer stripping for the commercials. So when you talk about being crude and content for the Super Bowl, I'm not sure you're qualified to take a moral stance on that, Danica.
Seemed like a nice choice.
So again, it takes us back to the only thing Danica Patrick's really qualified to comment on is crashing cars. If you have like an insurance situation and you need to crash a car, Danica Patrick is your go-to.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Dolphin fans, very pleasant good morning to you once again. What more can be said? I felt very strongly about sending in my resignation once again. We've gone through this before. It seems like it's an annual occurrence where there's only so many and there are so many disparaging words that you can possibly speak about your beloved Miami Dolphins. Welcome, my friends. This is yet another mandatory edition of Dolphins Crying Towel. We welcome into the world one Luca Panici Lubitz. Congratulations, Louis. You can keep smiling until you look at the box score on yesterday's game. It's a shame to bring a young son into this world. We know that fandom is passed down as a family tradition. What a sorry fate this young man is facing. That his memory will stretch all the way back to 1972. That's far and away ancient history, although modern day Dolphin fans have yet to come to accept that. It's a thing of the past. The only zero that you're going to end up seeing in the loss column is there on opening day, and that'll be the last time. The Miami Dolphins fall to a pathetic 1-5 to a Tagovailoa, as we've been saying. You wanted him to be a franchise quarterback. He is a franchise quarterback for a god-awful and lousy franchise. 1-5, 3 interceptions by Tagovailoa yesterday. Hardly the kind of stuff of which legends are made. And there, right in front of the eyeballs of one Mike Lubie Lubitz, still beaming from the birth of his newborn son, is the sorry reality that you could have drafted Justin Herbert at number 5. Here he is leading the Chargers with a new wave of enthusiasm as they move to 4-2 and move right past you in the final 46 seconds with a real quarterback who's well equipped to engineer a final late minutes drive. You had to look at it right in the face. The strapping 6'5" Justin Herbert firing the ball right and left with reckless abandon, completing almost every pass that he offered up yesterday against that midget worth like Tua Tagovailoa, who couldn't get out of his own way. His life depended on it. Behind a sorry offensive line, and even with the brilliance of one Devon A-Chain, the Miami Dolphins still come up losers and you have to face the sorry reality, Mike Lubie Lubitz. You brought a young man into this world who will never see the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. I'm Godfrey Lovejoy, and that's this morning's edition of Dolphins Crying Town. I'm sure that Godfrey was going to show up for this one today. It gets to the point, really. I mean, how much redundancy can we go through here, Mike Lubitz? How are you, by the way? Welcome back to the show. People, welcome back. We missed a couple of shows last week due to the fact that Lubie, a little premature evaluation.
Yeah, literally.
He was born 6 months early. Rather unusual. How'd that go? I mean, I know you've been on the lunchbox and explained what happened, but
We do it here.
for the people here, Bleacher Brothers, and all of our other outlets, what's the story, Lubie? Congratulations! I'm glad you're wearing blue and a nice color to celebrate the fact that you brought a baby boy into the world. What happened for those that haven't?
Oh God, what didn't happen? It's so funny. I was thinking yesterday. I'm like, what a week. I'm like, geez, this has only been a week. We went from last Monday. Everything was fine. We were getting set to do our 34-week appointment where they do the full anatomy scan and they check out the size, the weight, so you have an idea of what to expect for labor. And we're only at 34 weeks, and there was liquid, and it was a whole thing. So the doctor's like, "Yeah, I think." She's like, "You're dilated," and we're like, "What? It's only 34 weeks. You should not be dilated." So we go to the hospital, and she's in labor. So it was pretty calm for the most part. And then that night, like, all hell breaks loose. Like, there's blood on the bed, and it's not her, not the baby, but her placenta had sort of started to tear, which is really bad. Anyone who knows what that is, that's what keeps the baby fed and with oxygen. So without the placenta, you have to move forward. And her water had broken too, and she was dilated, so you have to move forward with the labor. But they went from going nice and slow to now we're in C-section mode.
Okay.
And they do emergency C-section. They were fantastic. The staff at this hospital is utterly amazing. And he was a good size, actually, for being 34 weeks. It actually almost made us think, how much of a monster was he going to be if he made full term? Because I was a little over 6 pounds at full term. So 6 weeks early to be 5.5 pounds is a nice size. He's one of the big, but because he's earlier than 35 weeks, just for precautions, he had to be in the NICU. But he's been doing really well. It's been a very, very topsy-turvy week. But little Luca is a fighter. And I'm glad he did not have to watch that Dolphins game because he would have started off.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you want to have consciousness where you're forever aware of what you witnessed? My earliest memories, I think, go back to when I was 4 years old. First time I had a cognizant memory. I remember I was standing somewhere, and I lived on the 4th floor, and I had the realization, the epiphany, that I was 4 years old, and my floor that I lived on was 4.
Okay.
I remember standing there thinking this was some stroke of genius that I just struck by the white light. But I do remember that, and I don't remember much before that. I don't necessarily remember anything from being 2 or 3 years old. I'm sure I was conscious of stuff, but that would be my most distant flashback memory of somewhere that I was, so I can envision it. So it's good. I mean, this kid would be unaware completely that the Miami Dolphins are horrible. And here we are in completing week number 6 tonight with a couple of Monday night games. And there are no answers. And these press conferences have become more and more bizarre. That's become my favorite aspect of Dolphin football. There were various times I really enjoyed the press conferences that the Dolphins would hold. The best, of course, was the completely phony one when Don Shula supposedly had this talk about epiphanies. And he walked into Wayne Huizinga's office one day after having this realization and said, "You know what, Wayne? I really ought to step aside and allow Jimmy Johnson to become the head coach of the team." Wayne looked at him and said, "You know, I was thinking the exact same thing. In fact, here's Jimmy."
Here's Jimmy.
And then they called this very hasty press conference that, Shula was stepping aside, and that Jimmy was going to be the coach. And I remember starting it off by saying that and this was a rather unfortunate choice of words, although it was deliberate, that the Miami Dolphins finally got the Big Johnson. And that was the one they were looking for. So, but the idea, the audacity of them to try and present this to the public and through the press, no less, using us as a medium to go ahead and try and explain away the impossible. That Don Shula decided he didn't have it anymore, and that of all people, he would decide the best way to go would be to get Jimmy Johnson to be the head coach of the team. That was ridiculous. We had a lot of Dave Wannstedt press conferences. It is what it is. That type of stuff. You guys are getting free pizza. Coco Cameron was always very exciting in press conferences. Nick Saban, very antagonistic in those press conferences. I don't know. You weren't around when Saban was a coach. Where you, Lubie? Were you
as a fan, I wasn't in the media yet. Okay. I was a fan. I remember. I mean, that's the beginning of when I started to hate Saban. Like, even when he was here,
it was always difficult. It just seemed like the guy, was constantly dealing with some form of wicked constipation. Yeah, just his ass was like so tight, and everything he had to say was negative and miserable. And you guys don't understand what this is all about. I always love when a coach does that. We understand what it's about. You're losing your ass and looking bad in the process. This Mike McDaniel stuff, though, has taken on new levels of lunacy, has it not? I mean, very much like we were talking about with certain political situations where you're watching somebody and just saying, my God, how on earth do they sleep at night? The latest, of course, being this testimony in front of Congress by one Pam Bondi, which you would have to say that I was a little suspect, was it not, for the Attorney General of the United States? Doesn't know anything about anything. Hey, you'll have to ask this guy. Yeah, you'll have to ask that guy. I'm asking you. That was the
what do you know?
You're not interested in this stuff. But McDaniel's press conferences are becoming equally bizarre. Are they not, Lubie? I don't know if we have any clips or anything.
I can play the old one. I don't have any new ones.
Give me a little McDaniel. I just, I kind of want to get that in my head here because it helps. I think it helps to understand the situation, which, and wow, I mean, wouldn't you be rooting for this guy? That this is a guy that you thought was going to be a refreshing change from the staid, old tried, salty dog, cantankerous coach who was always angry at everybody and everything, and the officials and the management, and just always having something negative to say afterwards in a fiery fashion. And instead, we get stuff like this. I guess you got that thing queued up. Go ahead and fire it.
To win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game. Honestly, and that is how you lose the game. You're moving the ball down the field. You're 1st and 10, and then you find yourself at 2nd and 20. That was critical.
Buenos dias.
I love that. It's like he just said something incoherent for 3 minutes, and then he said, "No, I don't know. I didn't understand anything you just said. I don't know."
To win the game, you're trying to win the game, not trying to lose the game.
Thank
you. Extrapolation of the old Herm Edwards.
That was ridiculous yesterday. Yeah. Everyone talking crap about Tua, and they did have 2 interceptions. He did engineer a game.
Three picks for Tua in this game.
No, at the end, that was after. But like at that point,
he thank God the guy didn't run it back.
Yeah. Oh, the spread. I didn't know was a spread involved.
At least you covered a point spread with this team. That was a good thing. You were getting 4 points, I think, with the Miami Dolphins, and Tua throws his pick, and the only thing that could kill you at that point is the pick. That they lose the game didn't even matter to the guys who were betting the Dolphins.
Yeah,
you're going to cover the point spread no matter what, and then he throws a ball right to this guy. Thank God he ran out of bounds, Lubie. He must have had the Dolphins +4 also.
Yeah, exactly. But look, he engineers a game-winning drive, right? They march down the field, they get a touchdown with under a minute left. The Chargers only have 1 timeout. Like, Tua was not good yesterday, but he did what he was supposed to do. Like, they had a lead with around 30 seconds left with 1 timeout. Jalen Phillips has him dead to rights. Like, he actually was holding Justin Herbert. Like, yes. How do you not complete that sack? And then they have the guy, was it McConkey? They have him at the 40, and they just let him break 17 tackles and it goes down to the 20. It's like, again, they always say it, and I never really said this expression except for when I watched the Dolphins and my Seminoles. Bad teams find ways to lose games, and
they've been doing it
weeks. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yes. Leads late in both ball games, actually doing the thing that was one of the biggest complaints about Tagovailoa since he's been the starting quarterback here, is these late game rallies usually fall short.
Yep.
In this case, he has the ball. He manages to knock it down right down the field there. They take the go-ahead score, 46 seconds to go. So what happens? I mean, like you said, it seems vague, like an intangible. You find ways to lose the game, but they do. They give up a big kick return on the ensuing.
Oh, yeah. What did you
set them up in a situation where maybe they need 30, 35 yards tops
Yep.
to be in almost guaranteed field goal range, with the way the kickers are percentage-wise now and distance-wise for that matter.
Yep.
And sure enough, like you said, guys got Herbert in the grasp, but basically you're waiting for the whistle to blow, and he dumps the ball off to McConkey. He breaks 10 tackles from the remaining players that were on the field and ends up they're in field goal range before you know it. I mean, ready to go ahead and serve up a loss. So that was tragic. I don't even know. I mean, what can you say at this point? People are waiting for McDaniel to get fired.
That's it, right? Like, is that it? Okay, so what is Greer not tied to? Like, I'm so confused.
He seems to have a Cashman free pass, does he not? What does Chris Greer have on these people?
But Cashman's won a World Series, and he's been in other World Series, and they contend every year, and it's still not enough for Yankee fans, and I get it. Like, I don't get the Greer stuff. It's not a joke. He's the longest tenured GM without winning a playoff game in NFL history. Like, usually by year 5 or 6, if you don't win a playoff game, you're gone. It's year 10.
Yeah. It's not like he's steadfast to some plan where you go, wow, this has worked everywhere the guy's been. Don't worry, it's going to give it time and it'll work out. They've had 18 different approaches in just the last few years. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. We're going to win with speed. We're going to do a finesse. So we're going to have an innovative coach in here that has all wild plays drawn up. Well, we need discipline. That they have been directionless under Chris Greer. That would be the indictment against him. If you're going to be in the front office, I mean, it was one thing. We had Dale Talon. He had a fabled career in the National Hockey League. Was well respected by many, many people. Still is well respected. And yet there was just something wrong with what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't working, and so you had to finally say, okay, I know we don't really want to do this. The guy is greatly and widely thought of as being one of the talented minds here. He did this great job there with the Blackhawks, and but he wasn't able to replicate it here for whatever reason. And it wasn't because they didn't want to spend any money, although they had weird ownership at different times. But once Vinny Viola came in, it was pretty clear that he was going to be committed to it. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I mean, you talk about an owner. Do you ever see Viola beating his chest? Has he even held the Stanley Cup?
Maybe. I don't know. They never talk about him. He's more involved in their horse racing than you see him with the Panthers.
Isn't that weird? You guys won 2 straight Stanley Cups as an owner. So providing the money, seemed to put the right people in place. Mm-hmm. Put his trust in this Zito guy. That was a great find. And things are working ever since, even though you got rid of a guy that what was universally admired as a great hockey mind and a builder of franchises. Greer's done none of that. I mean, where does he deserve this free pass? And how can you possibly not hold him accountable for changing directions every 6 weeks? Okay, we're going free agents. Okay, we're going to draft. We're going to accumulate 1 million draft picks. No, we're going to trade them all away. We're going to get high-profile players. And none of it's worked. So, unfortunately, the Dolphins are actually 2 games worse at this point than the Carolina Panthers, who they lost to just a week ago. Carolina 3-3. I told you I like this Canales guy. Pretty good coach. But that being said, for the Panthers, Carolina Panthers, to be 3-3 while the Dolphins are sitting there at 1-5, you have to ask yourself, what the hell is going on out there? That's for sure. Other games, wow, a pathetic offering early in the morning. The Broncos and the Jets. Did you watch any of that, Lubie? Broncos and the Jets.
The end score. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
That was the 3rd game this year, surprisingly. They had 9 sacks in the game, the Denver Broncos. This Justin Fields, are the Jets better off? Talk about front office premature evaluations there. They get rid of Aaron Rodgers because they don't like him because he's a freak and a sourpuss, but it wasn't like he was taking them to new heights. And they put all of their fortunes in the hands of one Justin Fields, who where does he rate being that caliber of quarterback? And he was horrendous yesterday. This game in London. I don't know how these Europeans show up for these games, Libby. It seems like the worst games ever contested in NFL history take place in London. And they've invaded a couple of other countries to try and expand the global influence of the National Football League, and the fans show up. So, and I would imagine that's a pretty pricey ticket when you're going to these European games. And yet, that being said, the games in England especially have, and that has been the predominant number of them have been in London because that's where it all started out. But absolutely pathetic. And this game yesterday, 9 sacks by the Denver Broncos against Justin Fields and the New York Jets. And the Jets still have a chance to win the game at the end. They had two of the most bizarre things happen that I've ever seen. I actually left the house because I had to go somewhere. And I was telling my neighbor, who's a big Jet fan, I don't think he realized the Jets were on in the morning, Lubie, because he was out doing stuff. I'm thinking this guy normally watches Jet games very attentively. I said, your Jets are about to get their first win of the season. I was pretty convinced that they couldn't possibly fail. They were already pretty much in field goal range when I walked out of the house. It turned out they ended up getting a sack there, but they had a play. Did you see this thing where they let 30 seconds evaporate off the clock without running a play at halftime? They're down 10-6 at halftime. And, I mean, you talk about being ill-equipped to coach in a National Football League. They're actually staring out on the field while the players are standing around. They have a 4th and 1 at around just short of the 50-yard line, around their own 47.
Okay.
All right, so the time's rolling off the clock. There were like 28 seconds, almost 30 seconds to go when they should have lined up for this play. You're thinking, look, you're 0-5. You may as well go for it. You're still only going to leave the other team about 20 seconds from the 50. Maybe they get a field goal out of it. If it backfires, so be it. I mean, you're having a terrible season anyway.
Yeah.
But you at least want to, get a snap off right then and there and see if you make the first down and then have a chance to go in and, at the worst, maybe be down 10-9 at halftime after a god-awful offensive performance. So you're right there banging on the door. You'd be 1 point down. And who knows, maybe you break one and get a touchdown. There was still enough time for all of that to happen. And they just let the time evaporate. They never ran a play.
Oh, Jesus.
The coaches are looking out at the players. The players are looking over to the sideline. They finally line up for the snap with 2 seconds to go on the clock. And before they got the snap count over with and got the snap off, the time ran out. They didn't run a play. 28 seconds on the clock. Nothing.
Oh, Jesus.
That should be fireable, no?
Yeah, well, at least get a play. If you get 10, 15 yards, like you said, kickers these days can make a 60, 58-yarder easy. Like, okay, I don't know. I don't know if that's Aaron Glenn. I don't know if it's just the Jets are cursed.
Well, it has to be on Glenn. How do you not have a play?
I'm so confused. That's weird.
At the worst, I mean, you don't want to line up and punt the ball necessarily. That would have been the last thing they probably wanted to do, but I mean, you do want to run this. It was 4th and 1. So all they had to do was, if anything, maybe take a shot, run a little play action there. That's a chance maybe to score a touchdown. You're 0-5, for God's sake. What the hell are they doing? That was awful. So that was that. The Patriots continue to win, and that was good. That was my best bet. I said seeing the Patriots only laying 3.5 in their ball game against the Saints. It would be like seeing gas at 29.9 and going by the gas station and saying, I don't need to fill up my tank. Unbelievable. They did. It was tougher than it should have been, but they nonetheless prevailed and covered that point spread. Tampa Bay, another sensational effort there by Baker Mayfield. They knock off San Francisco. Kansas City beats Detroit handily. What happened there, Lubie? Detroit mows right down the field on the opening drive, and you thought this is going to be blowout city, that the Chiefs are finished. And from there, Kansas City's defense toughened up quite a bit, and they end up winning 30-17. Pretty good ball game last night, as Patrick Mahomes now levels a record at 3-3. A lot of college stuff over the weekend as well. At Major League Baseball, we had a couple of those divisional series wrap up Friday and Saturday, and already into Game 1, contested yesterday with the Mariners coming out on top. Looks like Kyle's brother, Kevin Martinez, president of business operations for the Seattle Mariners, might be having to cough up some World Series tickets, Libby.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing.
Where do we want to travel to? Do we want to go all the way to Seattle to see a World Series game? It's a little premature also, but Seattle up 1-0 after beating Toronto 3-1. This was a weird one. Guy hits a leadoff home run, George Springer, for the Toronto Blue Jays. They managed to close out the first inning without Seattle scoring. So it's 0-0, bottom of the first. Springer comes up, first hitter for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a home run. Okay, so 1-0, one hit, one batter, one run. They get one hit the rest of the way. They go 1 for 28 the rest of the way with 3 walks and end up with 2 hits in the ball game, Toronto. Raleigh hits a home run, I think, in the sixth inning to tie the ball game to get Polanco with a couple of RBI singles. He's been really good. Of course, clinched it for him. What was that? Was that Friday or Saturday? I think that was Friday. The Mariners clinched, and Polanco was the guy with the game-winning single there, and ends up with a couple of RBI singles that produced a winning run in this ball game. The winning runs, and Seattle gets off to a 1-0 start. Both series are in action today. Seattle and Toronto, that's 5 o'clock. And the LA Dodgers throw Blake Snell out on the mound against Quintana as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. And that game gets underway at 8 o'clock tonight. So should be a lot of fun. Baseball back in action. Always good. A couple of games on the NFL slate as well, with the Bills taking on the Falcons and the Commanders hosting the Chicago Bears. Bills favored by 3.5 over the Falcons. Commanders 5.5-point favorites over the Chicago Bears. So a lot of interesting action taking place tonight. We'll get into some college football. Your Florida State Seminoles, another surprising loss. That was weird. Were we completely duped into thinking they were a great team after they beat Alabama? Alabama hasn't lost since. Been a lot of close calls.
It's really annoying. That performance you saw from both teams, you never saw again. Bama has not looked like that since. Florida State is, even when they beat the Cupcakes, they didn't look like that. I don't know what that night was. I don't know what they gave those kids, but they have not looked like that. Like the Pittsburgh quarterback wasn't good. Like he wasn't fast. He wasn't decisive. He really didn't throw the ball well. And the linebackers would just watch him. It was like, what do you guys, like he would run really slow and 3 guys would be there and no one would make a tackle. And it's the fact that this has happened now for 3 straight games where their defense has just looked totally lost, no matter who they're playing, because at least UVA had a nice offense. Miami's 5, whatever. Like, but it's the same. Pitt's not. It was a freshman, and he didn't look good. I mean, like, they had many opportunities to demolish the kid, and they were just, like, watching it. And then that offense that was so high-flying is very predictable, and it got a decent amount of points by the end of the game, but they left a lot of points off the board. They're just not good. I don't see how Norvell survives. What happened in Penn State, if James Franklin, who's in the playoffs last year and they're top 10 every year, they find a way to pay his ridiculous buyout. It's just hard for me to believe that.
$6 million was supposedly the number.
I know Norvell's is 50.
Again, my assertion is right on the money. People, encourage your children, and little Luca should be encouraged right from the moment he opens his eyes, which he already has.
Yes.
But you should start instilling in him the belief that what he wants to become is a failed football coach.
Yeah, it's way better than an NFL coach. These guys don't have buyouts that are 60.
Oh. When McDaniel walks, he still gets his money. I mean, which is exorbitant considering
he's done.
Compensation to achievement.
Yeah.
Guys lost 9 straight games to teams with a 500 record or better entering the ballgame.
That's crazy.
Always loses to any team that's 500 or better. Can you imagine?
He just looks so lost. Like, it's so annoying how lost he looks. And it's just like,
it doesn't seem like he's one of those guys that's going to instill an overwhelming amount of confidence in players, does it?
No.
Like, I mean, and I guess Tua alluded to some of this, a little bit of a cavalier attitude by the Miami Dolphins, like just a soft team all the way around.
Yes.
Kind of crazy. Because Tua was talking about guys missing meetings and this and that and the other stuff. And I'm thinking missing tackles probably is more important.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it just doesn't seem like I hate that cliche about, the coach has lost the locker room. But
I don't know if I ever had it. That's the problem.
if it's sort of applicable, I mean, it does appear that may be part of the reason that the Miami Dolphins can't close out games. And are losing to teams that you looked at on the schedule. The Segredo thing would not have worked this year. Tony would be embarrassed.
They would play good teams yet.
In traffic if he was held accountable for whatever his prediction was for the team. Although now that he's not officially like doing this for NBC or a local television outlet, he has taken a different approach. I mean, didn't he predict like 7 wins for this team this year?
Yes.
Was it 7? That's an abysmal total. Huh? And yet that seems like it's going to be a tough achievement.
They're not getting there. These were all the easy games. The Chargers were a decent game, but like the Panthers, the Colts, now the Patriots, who have turned out to be what a lot of people thought they could be, were still games they were supposed to win. like to lose those games. Oh my God, the last 2 games. And then the Chargers, you should have won. I mean, they were settling for field goals instead of getting touchdowns. Then they finally march down the field, get a touchdown. Don't leave them a lot of time. No timeouts. They're highly accredited defensive linemen. Blow 2 sacks in a row. It's like, oh my god! It's just, it's just a comedy of errors, and it's for my Saturday.
Yeah, you can see it coming too. That's the sad part.
Yeah, no, I knew they were going to go score. I'm like, they're going to score. Like you knew it,
didn't you? I mean, 46 seconds ago, you're thinking this game's not over.
No way.
And then you start doing the math, thinking, all right, Carolina can go ahead and win, which makes for a joyous day for one Godfrey Lovejoy. And I don't even know. Are the fans indifferent? One of the comments, one of the guys I was with yesterday at Brews Room kept alluding to the idea that there was nobody in the crowd.
Yeah, it was. Oh no, it looked empty. It looked like
empty?
a King game. It looked like a King game. It was the most lackluster crowd for a Dolphins game I've seen in a long time.
Did seem a little bizarre, yeah, because I tried to make the excuse that, well, it was just after halftime, so a lot of people aren't in their seats yet. But he said, no, that's the way it looked before. What are you talking about? So maybe the fan indifference is setting in, and that's where it becomes painful.
The worst. That's the worst. Yep.
Once the fans just don't give a flying one anymore, that's never a good development. All right, so James Franklin fired. I don't know if that was a big surprise. They lost back-to-back games to teams they were favored by over 20 points to. So one of the alumni, or that was influential, at least, it would have taken more than one alumni, one boost.
Supposedly Adidas, like the word that's out is Adidas directly was like, because they're Adidas school, I guess, was like, yeah, we're not paying you guys all this money to suck, which I've never heard. It's a new thing. Like the shoe companies or whatever, apparel companies don't usually have a say in it. But from what I've read, Adidas was highly influential in making this decisive, quick decision. Look, I mean, it's clear he sucks in the big games, and then now you're losing to bad teams when you're supposed to, you're 20+ point favorite back-to-back weeks. It seemed like the time was near for him. I just, they were in the playoffs last year, like
talent to productivity, though. Once again, you would have to say just didn't measure up. Although this Drew Aller, he didn't impress me at all, and of course, sadly, I mean, he got injured. You don't root for that to happen, even if you're a diehard Penn State hater. But nonetheless, the previous couple of times that I saw him, I was like, well, what is the big deal about this guy? He just doesn't seem to really have it. And James Franklin, always very impressive. I've watched a bunch of James Franklin coaches shows for some reason, flipping channels, and I see this guy talking. He was usually casually talking to some guy on like the Big Ten network outside at some lodge somewhere. And seems very impressive. I don't know. Seemed like a really solid guy to have leading these brave young men into battle, and yet nothing. So $56 million. Though, imagine that, Lubie. How bad can you feel, Lubie, if you lost a Penn State job?
I mean, and that's the thing is, I don't feel bad for any of these guys. Like they're making lots and lots of money for the most part.
$6 million to walk away. That's
they
great.
struggle. Yeah, no, I mean, Franklin will be fine. And again, he's Arkansas, UF, like all these schools are gonna jump at him because he is a solid coach. He can again. He and Mario remind me a lot of each other. He's actually gone further than Mario in a tougher conference. He's flirted with top tens, flirted with the playoffs, been in the playoffs, but he's just he's a guy that probably can't take you to the next level. But if you're average or bad, like you're at least going to be top 10 every year. You're going to recruit in the top 10 to 15. You're going to matter. Like for some of these programs, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, even UF. I'll never know what that Texas win was because they're gonna lose like 2 of the next 3. UF's gonna be like a 3 or 4 win team this year because their schedule is just utterly insane. Like they have not been relevant really since Urban. I know Mullen and McElwain had somewhat success where they would be in conference championship games, but they would get blown out by Bama or something. So you never really thought they were anything. To have UF be so not matter for college football for like 15 to 18 years. Like a guy like Franklin, with their war chest, with the way where they are recruiting wise, like he would make them relevant. So you just got to figure, okay, he is what he is, but at least he doesn't suck. Like
supposedly going to be highly coveted.
Yeah, he's going to get one number. So he's going to get that money. I don't know how it works if you get another job though. I don't know if you do.
I would think a buyout is a buyout.
Yeah, I guess.
This is, I mean, in the NFL, coach, if he's getting paid by one team, is also then getting paid by his new team. But if he's owed the money on the contract. I don't think there's any way around that. Bad day for coaches named Trent, also in college football. Trent Dilfer, of course. He of the unfortunate theory that you can win a Super Bowl without a great quarterback. He started that whole thing with the 2000 Ravens, which, if you have the greatest defense of possibly all time, you can win a Super Bowl with a Trent Dilfer. That should have been the qualifier on it. It wasn't like you win a Super Bowl with a lousy quarterback with an average team. That's not happening, right? So, I mean, they were so good defensively that even Dilfer could win a Super Bowl with them. But Dilfer became the coach, was coaching at UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, and got axed after a very, you would have to say, sub-modest start. I think he was like 2-9. I don't know exactly what was going on there. Trent Bray also fired from Oregon State. Trent Bray gone. So if your name was Trent yesterday, two of them got canned. James Franklin, not a huge surprise, but nonetheless, I don't know that you saw that coming as immediately as it did. While everybody's waiting for the axe to fall on Mike McDaniel, which I don't believe it is. I saw somebody post something on social media. Oh yeah, today is the day that McDaniel gets fired. Do you see that happening? I don't.
I think it goes to the end of the year. Ross is weird. When has he really fired guys in season? Like, he's had some of the worst coaches in the history of the sport.
Sure.
And he doesn't get rid of them until the end of the year. Again, my problem is I think it's clear McDaniel's gone. The idea that Greer and McDaniel aren't both automatically gone is making me sick to my stomach. Like, I've been a Dolphin fan my whole life. I've ebbed and flowed. They've been bad for a long time now. But like, if you're an organization that keeps employing a man who clearly doesn't know what the hell he's like, even like he doesn't have one good draft pick. Like, that's the other thing too, is all the people who held on to Tua and Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle. Waddle, to start the game yesterday, that ball was clean in his hands. It was a really nice throw from Tua, and he bobbles it for no reason for an interception that goes back the other way for points. Like, none of his draft picks have been good. None. Like, even the best draft picks are all guys that are average. Like, Tua now is in the 15 to 20 quarterback range. Jalen Phillips is either hurt all the time or doing nothing. Like, Bradley Chubb, like, he went and used a ton of picks to go, and he's done nothing. Like, Chris Greer, there's not one good player that you're like, yeah, that's a guy that – there's not one franchise player from any of his drafts. He's been drafting for over 10 years. Like, if he's not gone, McDaniel, it's the kind of thing that makes you stop rooting for a team.
Yeah.
When a team is just that – losing is one thing, but when they're losing and they don't seem to give a crap about the losing, and they're not taking strides to – that's why FSU – look, I know Norvell by the end of the year is gone. Like, they're not – whatever that buyout is, they're going to find a way. Like, they're not going to just sit back and watch this guy continue to ruin the program. The Dolphins is the total opposite. Like, they're so reactionary. They're so slow. And then the Chris Greer stuff where he made every regime, somehow he gets to hang on.
It's crazy.
Like, I don't get it. Like, what?
Why would he be the one constant in a franchise that, as we were talking about, I mean, they just seem to change directions every other year and decide, okay, well, that plan didn't work, so let's go with an entirely new thing, and then we're going to tank, then we're going to get free agents. I mean, they just haven't been able to solve it, and no matter what, the bottom line is, unfortunately, like Dale Talon wasn't able to put the right players together and never seemed to make the one dynamic deal that turns the fortunes of the franchise around. And you would have to say that yesterday, you would much rather have had Justin Herbert than Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, no, Herbert was fine, but the funny thing is, it wasn't like
prototype quarterback over a guy that's going to be a question mark. I think that question mark, he should just take the number off his back and put a question mark there. No,
he's fine. I
go Matthew Lesko, like the guy with the question marks on the jacket that I always loved there.
Yes.
He was great. Well, whatever happened to that guy? Checked out? I haven't seen him for a long time. He was right up there with Dr. Oz in terms of credibility, I think. All right, we're going to come back with more in a moment. There's more college football. Indiana over Oregon. That was kind of an interesting one over the weekend.
Yeah, that's a guy that can coach.
And the speculation is Matt Rule or Kurt Cignetti for the future coach of Penn State. Well, both of those guys are involved with teams right now that are doing okay. Yeah. All right, so we'll come back with more in a moment here. Congratulations, Mike Lubie-Lubitz.
Thanks, sir.
People alluding to the fact that now a proud papa. And the status as of today is what? What's the story on this?
Well, Sheldon G keeps saying I'm giving too much info. I don't know. People keep asking me what's going on. We were 6 weeks away from having the baby, so to have the baby here, there's gaps in there that people want filled, and I can't. My wife had said, "Look, I know what you guys do, so go ahead, do what you want to do." So that's why I'm saying everything, because I get it. We've talked about this every day for the last 8 months,
Sure.
so I understand people have questions.
People are anxious for this to come about.
He's doing well. He's a strong kid. Again, he was inconsolable yesterday after the Dolphins lost, but he ate his food.
What, was he crying, or did he throw something at the TV?
He just wasn't happy, and I get it. I understand. Look, my dad and I were there, and it was hard to keep him down, but he ate his food. He calmed down, and we said, "Look, good luck. This is what it is."
You didn't actually put the game on in his
no, thank God, no.
Hospital.
I didn't want to make him utterly sick.
Not only that, but well, I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about the people having to pay attention to an entertaining ball. I guess it was entertaining from the
game
standpoint.
was fine. It just
Took
sucks.
the lead late.
They can't finish games. I mean, that's just where we are right now. Like the Patriots, like all these games were close. Like except
all NFL games seem to boil down to it.
They just can't finish. Like that's the difference. The good teams finish, like the Chiefs, where I guess they're not gone yet, as everyone wished they were. Patrick Mahomes, like we've said, is still the best quarterback in the league. They find a way to finish games. The Dolphins find a way to hand over games, and it's not been 4 years under Mike McDaniel. They've done this. Even when they were good, winning 10, 11 games, there were still games where they didn't finish, and that's why they didn't win playoff games.
This is ugly, yeah. Playoffs. I can't even think about that now. Yeah, they would have to go. What? They have 11 games left. So if they go 6-5, they would end up with 7 wins. Not bad. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute. Where's that number for renewing season tickets?
Yeah, right.
I want to call it A before the demand gets too excessive. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that 8:42.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe Bee.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
The world, I mean, if my point was ever going to be embellished and going to be proven true, the world has gotten a sugar nut.
Grab a bagel and a schmear, plus some Defo and Lubie. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. Good to be with you guys. Jeff DeForest. We got Mike Lubie Lubitz, proud papa, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Luca Lubitz doing quite well. I guess it's Luca Lubitz Reyes. You're going to do one of those hyphenated things, which I always like in a player. I don't know why. I like the hyphenated players, the hyphenated schools.
Yeah.
It's made famous by McGuire as Al McGuire, who said you always got to watch out for the schools with the hyphens when he was talking about the NCAA tournament, and he was right about that, as we saw.
We're talking about schools with hyphens. We didn't get to say goodbye to Sister Jean.
Sister Jean checked out 106. Lubie seemed relatively coherent for 100.
Yes.
Did she not?
Yes, she was active. She was like out and about.
If you still have your so-called mental faculties at 106, do you want to live that long? I'm thinking as long as you're not in any kind of bizarre pain or discomfort. 106. I'll take the number right now.
It's a nice number, yeah. What do you mean?
The odds are very slim on my end. I'm still here at 74. I really am.
I know.
Kind of crazy, to even think that you could ever hit a number like that. Like I said, I mean, you go to these places and some 80-year-old wants your phone number, and you're thinking that makes more sense than that 40-year-old I'm staring at.
It
That's for
does.
sure. Much closer in the category. All right, so we have a lot of different things swirling about here, certainly in town and around the league. Now, who's the best of the NFL teams? I thought it was Detroit.
Yeah.
They lost to Kansas City yesterday and kind of got handled a little bit in the process. So that was a surprising thing. I thought, if anything, that might end up being a bloodbath. Detroit certainly looked like they were going to just run the ball down Kansas City's throat, and Spagnuolo was going to have no answers. Maybe that's another thing, too, that you have to take a look at when you're assessing the value of a head coach. And it may be in-game adjustments. It may be adjustments from game to game. But this is something that you don't see being applied successfully by Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. And I guess you could probably pinpoint this and assess almost any losing franchise in this fashion, where they just don't wake up to things. Now, you just lost the previous week on a last-second score that beat you to Carolina. And you come back the ensuing week, 46 seconds to go, and you manage to do everything that you can possibly do wrong to put yourself in a losing situation and allow the other team to score. Should there have been look, the coaches don't go out there and play. You have a guy like you mentioned. You got Jalen Phillips, one of your best pass rushers, highly touted, highly paid, and a good guy, former guy that's easy to root for. He's holding Justin Herbert in a bear hug. My God. I mean,
It wasn't like the thing where they blow right by and you're like, oh my God, what are you doing? He had him, and it wasn't even like Herbert shoved him. He had him and then just let go. That was the weirdest freaking play.
For that to turn into a 40-yard play.
And then they go and get
that ices the game, essentially.
Oh God, it was like
it's horrendous. Now you can look at the coaches. Did they have the players in the right position to go ahead and win the ball game? Yeah, the guy's about to plant them into the ground.
Yes, that play, that wasn't coaches. That play was 100% execution.
But the fact, too, that it's a recurring theme where you go from one week to the next and you lose a game in the exact same fashion, where you literally seize defeat from the jaws of victory, that's not good. And then you have to look inside of the game itself. I know that the Dolphins did rally for 10 points down from 10 down in the fourth quarter to take the lead in the ball game.
Yes.
So does that suggest that maybe they made a few favorable coaching adjustments or noticed some things and started to take advantage of what was being presented to them? Or do we just discredit that because they lost the game? Because Spagnuolo definitely found a way to curtail whatever was going on with Detroit in that opening drive.
Mm-hmm.
They only scored 10 more points the entire ball game, which was surprising to me because it looked like they were going to be unstoppable. They come right out of the chute, rammed it right down KC's throat, and you were looking at Spagnuolo, and he had that pale look on his face, like he just found out. What do you mean they're bringing me to the chair tomorrow?
Oh, jeez.
I thought I had appeals. No, ran out of those. Sorry. But he somehow managed to find a solution to it during the course of the ball game. So, do we see a lot of that out of the Miami Dolphins? Not really over the last 7 years. It seems like whatever recipe for disaster they can conjure up, they always manage to go ahead and execute that instead, which is just god awful. But do we forget about them now? I mean, look, Lubie, we're spending a lot of time here talking about a team that's 1-5. That's
I feel bad we're making people
Browns
listen
next
to
week.
this. It's just hard to. It feels like in the next few weeks we won't be. Like you talk about that thing where Dave Hyde opened our eyes. 1-5, Godfrey Lovejoy, people will bitch. But once you get to 1-8, 1-9, 1-10, like it's hard to talk about that team. Like it's just.
And this isn't the Brian Flores team that everybody thought was going to be awful.
No, there's a talented team. That's my problem with it. This roster is very expensive. Like there's a lot, and it's both sides of the ball. Both sides of the ball, they put a lot of money into this roster. Like Tua,
you're also getting guys that should be peaking or starting to. I mean, Tua should be a really astute quarterback at this point. He shouldn't be a guy that's throwing 3 picks in crucial games. He did, like I said, and you said also, lead him back to a position where they could have won a ball game. He doesn't play defense, and he doesn't play special teams. So those were the two culprits yesterday in the end game. But he just, for being in, his 5th year now, Is it 5 or 6?
Year
5.
6. This is year 6.
6. 6. You're not seeing it. I mean, you're not seeing some kind of progressive line to the point where you're going, wow, I really trust this kid.
No.
Does a couple of things well, but a lot of things he just never really seemed to get a grip on. So, and the long passes still are lots, more suspect. I mean, Ryan Tannehill probably threw a better long ball.
Jesus.
Of course, he threw it 20 yards over whatever potential receiver he had, but still, at least it got there. This wasn't like leaving a putt short there to win the Masters, which seems to be the MO of one Tua Tagovailoa. So, that it's a recipe for disaster, as we said, and that there doesn't seem to be any solution to it. And you can't possibly be confident that the guys that you have in charge of the team are going to be responsible for the turnaround.
Well, it's like what I said.
It would be like bringing back Mike Tannenbaum.
Yes. Why would you trust the guys that got you there to make it better? Like, that's weird. I get it.
It's not happening.
We keep trying to figure out where did it start? Wanstead or Philbin or Sperano, fine. But during this tenure, they came in and they were given carte blanche and they've been allowed to do whatever they wanted. And they've gone backwards. They went from winning 11 games to now they'll probably win 4 games. Like, it's them. And to then go, well, but they're going to fix it. How? How are they? They're the ones that did it. How are they fixing it? Like, come on.
Guy comes and butchers your air conditioning, charges you $1,100. It works for one day. You paying a guy, and the next day it craps out again. You might call the guy back and hope that he would make amends, but the truth is you're moving on. At that
Yes.
point. There's no reason. There's no reason to trust what's happening with this Miami Dolphin team. There just isn't. They've tried every way, shape, and form to get an approach that would work, and it just hasn't happened. So, I mean, the towel is in. I don't know that I've ever seen a time of more futility, and I've been through a lot of different Dolphin MOs over the years, including, and we all experienced what was supposed to be this colossal tank job, and even that was misguided because they panicked their way right out of that. Went in another direction, and that direction flopped, and now you're just snookered sitting there with what do you do? Do you try to lose games to try and improve through the draft? That doesn't seem to work.
No. I mean,
You bring in high-priced free agents? Doesn't seem to work. Do you stick with this quarterback? That's not seemingly working. And you can't imagine that the entire franchise's fortunes were contingent on the play of Tyreek Hill. And maybe that was ill-founded also, putting so much into essentially one guy and not being able to. I mean, you have guys that can play too. Look, this Darren Waller turned out to be a hell of a find. We were kind of panning that in the beginning, saying, "Hey, why not get a guy that hasn't played in 3 years? He's been great.
He's been really good.
A-Chain should be a featured guy. He's a monster."
Yes.
Jalen Waddle, I don't know that he's a number one guy. If you have Tyreek Hill out there, Waddle's a great compliment to him. It's really the Marx brothers too, but not quite at that level.
No.
We didn't see the kind of play that we got out of the Marx brothers out of either of
scoring. They scored a lot. Like, these guys will make plays, but it's not in the end zone.
Pretty sad. Yeah, no, it's not a lot of incentive to go out there and buy tickets, Lubie. Did you get a jersey yet for Luka?
I don't know what jersey
I hope he doesn't have a little Dolphin jersey. And now I don't even know if you can disgrace him by adorning him in FSU garb.
No, maybe I'll have him wear FSU gear, but can't be directly related to the football team. It's a freaking disaster. Maybe the Panthers will have to be really big Panther fans, I guess. Maybe he'll grow up a Panther fan. I have no idea. It's freaking sad. Like, it's just, I was so hopeful for the weekends, and now they're just like, okay.
Slipping on the radar, too. The Panthers opening with 3 wins.
Yeah, they're kicking butt.
In spite of not having Kachuk in the lineup out till at least midseason and Barkov out for the year.
Yep.
They've and this Marchand is off to a hot start. 3-0 so far. I think they play in Philadelphia tonight.
Nice.
The Florida Panthers. Since they went off what is now FanDuel TV, I have trouble finding them on the CW. What channel is that? I don't even know.
I have no idea. I know I get it, but you're not wrong.
I get it, but I can never find it.
I have no idea how to watch anything that's on that channel.
We're in a freaking game, so
I don't know.
Too much to follow. Well, what happened to the old TV guide? You used to be able to tell you. All right, any thoughts on these games tonight? Buffalo Bills and the Falcons, Lubie?
Yeah,
Those are
I don't know.
It's in Atlanta, and the Falcons are home dogs to the Bills. The Bills didn't look too sharp last couple of outings. A little suspect, right? An outright loss to the Patriots, and sort of a little bit of a staggering job against what was a god awful Saints team at the
3
time.
weeks in a row. I mean, if the Dolphins, if Tua doesn't throw that stupid ass interception, the Dolphins had a chance to go down and take the lead. And the
That's
Dolphins
right.
are bad.
Dolphins played decently against
The
them.
Dolphins are bad. Then the Saints are really bad. The Bills, I guess they pulled out a win, but it was a really gross performance. And then the Patriots, who are looking better than we thought they'd be, still shouldn't have beaten them. Like, the Bills have been weird. I mean, they'll win that division because the Jets and the Dolphins are a sieve, but they don't look. Yeah, the AFC is weird. It's funny. Everyone wanted to believe in the Ravens. Yeah, now I know Lamar Jackson's hurt, but even before he was hurt, they were playing horrendous football, or they weren't getting wins at least. The Bills are in. Like, I don't know what to do. It feels like the Chiefs are rising to the top again. The Bills are weird. Like, I thought this would be the year when you see all these other teams struggling, the Bills would just sort of soar, and they're having a lot of struggles versus teams they should not struggle against.
So what you're calling this game?
I mean, no one tonight. The Falcons are a mess, but I don't know. They've sort of been playing, and I think it's that thing where they play down to the competition. That's sort of always been Josh Allen and the Bills thing, where like you'll see them beat the Chiefs, and you'll see them like struggle with like the Panthers, and it's like, okay, like that's weird. I mean, they'll win. The Falcons are a mess.
Do you think they'll beat the Falcons tonight? All right.
Yeah,
So is 4 points enough? I'm getting 4,
Yeah.
not 3.5. Jewish Journal line.
There you
Happened
go.
to be in my favor today, so we'll see what happens there. Commanders and the Bears. You were hoping the Bears would be a little bit better this year, didn't? I actually was sort of rooting for this Ben Johnson to come in there and do something with the Bears. I didn't think the Bears were as bad as their record indicated last year.
No.
Talk about a cliche, but I really didn't. I thought the Bears, they were involved in a lot of close games and they lost them all.
Yeah.
Which you might say is the mark of a bad team. We just were saying that in regard to the Miami Dolphins. But I thought the Bears had a chance with a little bit of a clean slate, new coach. That Eberfluss or whatever seemed to be universally despised by everybody in Chicago. He couldn't even get a slice of pizza in Chicago if he tried. This guy comes in, highly touted, a great offense last year with the Detroit Lions. Caleb Williams, a guy with some potential. I don't know that he's a total waste of time that the professor thinks he is. I'm not judging a guy because he polishes his nails with
Oh, yeah.
some kind of black paint. A little bizarre for me, naturally, growing up in Brooklyn in the 50s. But nonetheless, he had flashed some ability, and you thought this Johnson guy was going to straighten him out. Hasn't been all that great. And the Commanders, with Daniels, you have to respect them. They go out, last week and won on the road in a relatively easy fashion. So I'm thinking they probably prevail tonight. 5 and a hook in that ball game. Is that enough to get you to bet the Bears, Lubie? 5.5 points. Nothing. No response.
The Commanders have been world beaters. The Commanders have actually struggled as well.
All
And
right.
then the Bears have been game. I don't know. That's a lot of points. I mean, I probably would lean the Commanders in that, but I don't know.
Bears are on the road. Commanders 5.5 at home.
Yeah, I would go Commanders, I guess. I don't know.
Don't
Maybe
know what to
I
make of
think Daniels is playing. With Jane Daniels playing, they should be able to take care of it.
All right. Do the Blue Jays go down 0-2 to the Mariners?
Oh God, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. Like I was able to keep track of the football
Two stinking hits in the
for
ball
last week. I remember the Yankees taking a game, and then the Blue Jays, I know, closing them out because Yankee fans were crying. I didn't realize we were already in the LCS, and we already had a 1-0 lead in the LCS.
That game just snuck up on me yesterday. I'm looking at the crawl on ESPN. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they played yesterday. You kidding me? Where was that?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything about it.
And Dodgers Brewers, who do you like in a series? Let's look at that. You like the Dodgers to win this?
Yeah, they're coming on, and they should have been the best team in baseball all year. And I think we're really talented.
Ohtani's in a wicked slump, though. I mean, he had a horrible series in a previous series.
Those guys usually find a way. I don't know. I know the Brewers have been quietly one of the best, if not the best team in baseball record-wise. The Dodgers just have too much to me. I don't know. I think the Dodgers will prevail there. Now, will the Dodgers win it all? I don't know. The Blue Jays and the Mariners have been very interesting. And
Imagine the Mariners winning.
that would be weird. I mean, they have never even been in a World Series, let alone won one.
Worst nightmare, right, for the networks? Mariners,
Oh,
Brewers.
yeah, Mariners,
Mariners, Brewers, and they lose. I don't know that there is a winner among the American League, but if they don't get the Dodgers in the World Series, you would have to think that ad execs, as they always say, are going to be diving out of the buildings there. 30 Rock or whoever's carrying the game.
Yeah.
All right. Very good, Lubie. Congratulations. So what's the activity? You have to run to the hospital? How's this working?
We've been doing all of his feedings during the day.
How much longer will that have to?
He's doing really well. They actually finally brought it up yesterday about next steps to get him home. So hopefully in the next 2 days, we'll work toward getting little Luca home. So I'm trying to ebb and flow that. Shirley's been amazing. She's been handling it pretty much. Like when we go, she takes the lead. I went yesterday a couple times without her, and that went well.
No, she's not still in the hospital, is she?
Oh, she's out. She got out Saturday. So that's been the things we've been going back and forth because we don't want to not, get to practice. So we're still doing all of his feedings and all that stuff. But it's like every 3 hours and we have to drive to like Boca. So it's sort of a pain in the ass. So I'm trying to figure it out the next couple of days. We'll see what we can do. I want to be here. I want to get this done, but I also don't want to leave my recently laborious wife.
Hey, you gotta get
the tank,
through the stage. Do whatever you have to do.
And again, our sport sucks. So what do we miss?
Heat coming up. I don't know what they're going to be this year. Not sure. I'm instilled with a ton of confidence that they're going to be any big factor. You do have a big, compromised Eastern Conference, especially with Tatum out for the Boston Celtics for the season. We don't know if Cleveland's going to bounce back and have the kind of year they had last year. They bombed out in the playoffs when they had injuries. Who else? Is Orlando really a team that you're going to sit there and get excited about?
I don't know.
Not sure. Miami Heat aren't going to have Tyler Hero early in the year. Don't know what that does for them. I didn't realize Bam Adebayo was like seeing Asia Wilson. Is that right?
I saw something about that the other day. I didn't know what to do with it.
I think he was at the game and they were embraced. Apparently they're an item. Who the hell knew?
Whatever.
Did the Heat use her? Maybe the Knicks. No, the Nets. Definitely good. All right. We will see you guys tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know where that's tentative.
Playing it by ear. I just wanted to make sure we got on today. We haven't forgotten you all. We appreciate it. I love the well wishes. And yes, I hope his voice sounds nothing like this. I can't guarantee it. I don't. My dad does not.
I hope he sounds exactly like
my brother doesn't sound like this. This feels like just a me thing. So I presume my son won't. But who knows?
It's a unique voice. Nothing better than having a unique voice if you're going to be doing podcasting. Something that is easily recognizable. Oh, yeah, that's Lubie. We got some high praise yesterday from the table next to us. Sarni was a witness for the work that we did there on 940. Lubie, I believe your name came up several times also.
Nice.
Yeah, they were all big fans of the show. And it's been 4 years. But
it's crazy how long it's been. It's like weirds me out that it's been that long.
It really weirds me out because I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? All right, Lubie. Good luck with everything. Let me know what's happening with tomorrow, and we'll keep you guys posted. We will be here Wednesday in all likelihood, no matter what.
I'll figure out a way to be here Wednesday. Yeah, we want to get Segredo on and all that. Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Sorry if you're a Dolphin fan. Not much good news to report, and we'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:04.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.